So 5.4 is all about our sum and difference formulas. We use these formulas when we're given like the cosine of an angle or the sine or tangent of an angle that's not exactly on the unit circle, but we could use one of the formulas to help us out and find two angles that are on the unit circle. So looking at example A, we have cosine of 75. So 75 is not on the unit circle. But 75 is made up of two numbers that are on the unit circle. So what plus what? Some two numbers that are on the unit circle give us 75. 30 and 45. So I would say cosine of 30 plus 45. Which is the same thing as saying the cosine of 75. Because we're just adding them together. So since it's the cosine and plus, I'm going to look at my sum and difference formulas. And I'm going to use this one because it has cosine plus. These will be given to you on the test. Yes. So you don't have to memorize them.
What about the trig function?
So now, I split it up into 30 plus 45. So 30 is going to be my u, and 45 is my v. So I'm going to plug it into this part of the formula. So I'm going to have cosine of 30 times cosine of 45 minus sine of 30 times sine of 45. So all I did was plug in 30 into the u's and 45 into the v's in my formula here. So it had to be two numbers on the unit circle, so numbers like 30, 45, 60, 90, numbers like these. All right, so now we want to see what the cosine of 30 is. Cosine of 45, sine of 30, and sine of 45. Cosine tells me I have to look at what values on the unit circle. X values. Sine tells me I have to look at what values? Y. So the first one I want to see is 30 degrees. What's my X value at 30 degrees? So going to the unit circle, what is my X value at 30 degrees? Square root of 3 over 2. That's my X value. So square root 3 over 2. Now to find the cosine of 45, I need to find what my X value is at 45. So going to my unit circle, 45 degrees, what's my X value? Square root 2 over 2. Now we'll come back and multiply that at the end, but let's finish finding our trig functions. So sine of 30, I need to figure out what my y value is at 30 degrees. So it's my y value at 30 degrees. 1/2. So we're going to plug in 1/2 there. And then sine of 45, we are going to go to 45. And what's my y value at 45? Square root 2 over 2. Now we can multiply and subtract. So how would I multiply the first two fractions here? Straight across. What's square root 3 times square root 2? Square root 6. And 2 times 2 would be 4. Then 1 times square root 2, because I'm multiplying straight across again, would be square root 2 over 4. Can I combine these together? Yes, because I have a common denominator. So we would say square root 6 minus square root 2 over 4. And that would be our answer. If you could simplify this, you would want to, but can I simplify it? No. So that's our answer. Now, pi over 12 is not on our unit circle, but do I know what two values are going to add up and give me pi over 12? It's a little bit harder when it is a radian and not degree. So what do you think we could do? Convert it. So I'm going to convert it by multiplying 180 over pi. Let's see, I can divide them both by 6 here. So that would be 2 over 180 divided by 6 would be 30. And then 30 divided by 2 would be 15. So this is asking us for the sine of 15 degrees. Now what two numbers, it could either add or subtract, what two numbers on the unit circle give us 15 degrees? 45 minus 30. So I'm going to find the sine of 45 minus 30. So I'm going to use my sine and the minus formula, so this one. So 45 is my u, and 30 is the v. So I'm going to plug those in when I'm using this formula. So I have sine of u, so sine of 45 times cosine of 30 minus cosine of u, which is 45, times sine of 30. All right, so sine tells us we have to look at what value?
Even if the v is negative, you don't have to...
No, because the minus just tells us which formula we're going to use.
Oh.
So like u is just 45, v is 30. Sine tells us we have to look at what values? The y values. Cosine is x, and sine is y. I like to label it before I actually find them, just so I keep everything organized. So let's go to 45 degrees on the unit circle. What's my y value at 45? Square root 2 over 2. Next, we're going to go to 30 degrees on my unit circle. What's my x value at 30 degrees? Square root 3 over 2. And I have minus. So next, I'm going to find my x value for 45 degrees. So looking at 45, what's my x value? Square root 2 over 2. And then I'm going to find my sine of the y value at 30 degrees. So sine of 30. What's the y value at 30 degrees? 1/2. Perfect. Once we found all of our trig functions, we can just multiply and then subtract. So here I have square root 6 over 4 minus square root 2 over 4, which would simplify to square root 6 minus square root 2 over 4. And that is our answer. It just so happens that it's the same as the last question, but that's fine. It's not going to be that answer every time. All right, example 2. So here, it's the same idea. We're still using our sum and difference formulas, but it tells me which formula I'm going to use. I have to find the sine of u plus v. So it gives me two different triangles. I have my u triangle here and my v triangle here. Now sine, in terms of x, y, and r, is what over what? Sine is what value? The y value. So it's y over r. And it tells us that we're in which quadrant? Quadrant 1. We're going from 0 to pi over 2, so we're in the first quadrant. So we are here. So my sine would be 4, my y is 4, and my r is 5. How can I find the x here? Pythagorean theorem. So I have 4 squared plus x squared is equal to 5 squared. 16 plus x squared is 25. So x squared is 9. X is 3. So x is 3. So it's super helpful here. I would label all three of the values we have. So x, y, and r. X is 3, y is 4, and r is 5. And this is for our U triangle. So these are my 3 values for triangle U. Now we have to do the same thing for our V triangle. So I'm going to move to the cosine part. All right, let's do the same thing for this one. Cosine would be what over what? X over r. Do you think that negative goes with the 12 or the 13? Why the 12? Because the hypotenuse can never be negative. Our r can never be negative. And which quadrant am I in? The second quadrant. This tells us we're in quadrant 2. So my triangle is going to be over here. So my x values, negative 12. Why did I put it down here and not up here? Because this is our x-axis. So put it on the x-axis, and my radius, or my hypotenuse of my triangle, is 13. How do I find y? Pythagorean theorem. So I have negative 12 squared plus y squared is equal to 13 squared. 144 plus y squared is equal to 169. Subtract 144. So y squared is equal to 25, and y is 5. Is y positive 5 or negative 5? Positive, because we're going up. Since we're going up in the positive direction, it's a positive 5. So let's label our x, y, and r here, all my values for my V triangle. What's my x? Negative 12. What's my y? 5. And what's my r? 13. So these are all my values for my V triangle. So I really haven't done anything to answer the question yet other than set it up and find my values. So now I'm going to go back to the question. It says, find the exact value of sine of u plus v. So I'm going to go to my sum and difference formulas, and I'm going to use the sine of u plus v, this formula. So my formula goes sine of u times cosine of v plus cosine of u times sine of v. Now the u and v tell us here which triangle I'm going to use, either my u triangle or my v triangle. So I have 2 different x, y, and r values, 2 different triangles. So first one is my u triangle, sine of u. Sine is what over what? Y over r. So plugging in my values, my y is 4 and my r is 5. So 4 over 5. Now cosine of v, I'm going to my v triangle over here. Got to look at this one. Cosine is what over what? X over r. So this would be negative 12 over 13. I have plus. Now I'm going to find cosine of u. So u, I'm going back to the u triangle over here. Cosine is what over what? X over r. So this would be 3 over 5 times sine of v. Tells me I have to look at my v triangle here. Sine is what over what? Y over r. So this would be 5 over 13. What should I do next? Multiply, and then we'll add them together. So 4 times negative 12, negative 48. 5 times 13, 65. Plus 3 times 5, 15 over 5 times 13, 65. Perfect. They have a common denominator, so we can just add them together. What's negative 48 plus 15? Negative 33 over 65. So this would be our answer. So here we have to write as a single trig function and evaluate. So it gives us like the right side of these formulas here. And we have to figure out which formula we're looking at here. So for A, it goes sine, cosine, and plus. So which formula goes sine times cosine and then plus? Sine of u plus v. So I'm going to use the first one. So I'm using sine of u plus v. What do you think my u is? 74. And what do you think my v is? 16. So it'll be sine of 74 plus 16. What's 74 plus 16? So we're looking for the sine of 90 degrees. Sine tells us we look at what values? The y values. So if we go back to our unit circle, is it here? No, on the first page. What's our y value at 90 degrees? 1. So this would be our answer. So looking at B, here my formula goes cosine, cosine, plus. So which one of these on the right side goes cosine, cosine, plus? Cosine of u minus v. So I'm going to use cosine of u minus v. So what's my u? 280, and what's my v? 40. So this will be cosine of 280 minus 40. So cosine of 240. Cosine tells me I have to look at what x values. So on my unit circle at 240 degrees, what is my x value? Negative 1/2. So this would be negative 1/2. Any questions here? All right, last one. So these we're looking at the tangents. So it's tangent and a plus on top. So which one am I using? Tangent of u plus v. So this will be the tangent of 190 plus 125. So what's 190 plus 125? 315. Tangent tells me I look at what values on the unit circle? Y over x. So I need to go to 315 and figure out what my y over x value is. So the tangent of 315 would be negative 1.